Hey, looks like we two things or three things have come back in my life. Oh fuck, mic drop there. I'll just start again. Hey, it looks like three things have come back in my life that I wanted to get rid of. Um, Podge, Zoom calls, and syphilis.
I'm after choking. Podcast. Welcome back to the podcast. Thank you to everyone who listened last week. I hope you're keeping well. I hope you're not too miserable in these dark nights in lockdown. For those who've been long-term listeners, long-time
I hope you're
listeners.
not too miserable. Great, that's a great wish.
Well, yeah, I hope you're keeping well.
It's not like I hope you keep well. Like it's you're not too miserable.
Well, I mean, I'm miserable, so I hope everyone else is, to be honest.
Fair.
Those who've been long-time listeners of the podcast will know that about a year ago, this week, we started coming to Collaborative Studios and recording, and it's been an incredible year. Shout out to Shane. And while the last couple of months, it has just been myself and a guest. Before that, I had a co-host who was really the backbone of the podcast.
Oh, stop.
And now it's just got to shit.
You're making me blush. Well, I'm always red.
Ladies and gentlemen,
a different shade of red.
50 Shades of Red. It's just the Irish version of 50 Shades of Grey.
yeah. It's just them with a camera and me drinking pints and slowly getting more redder.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back Donal Corrigan. Donal, can we add like a yeah?
Yeah, wow! Oh my God, I love him. I think he shouldn't be single. How's he single? What? He's single? No way! Whoa!
Text me 087 472.
Yeah, it's 611-8270.
Donal, how are you?
Not too bad. I'm in Kildare at the moment.
Yeah, you moved. Why?
Yeah, man, Kildare's up and coming.
What part?
Kilcock.
Oh.
I only know Kilcock and Kilkee in Kildare.
Yeah.
Is it just kill everything like?
I think it just kills the vibe, really.
Yeah. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. That a town?
That'd be a great. Imagine that. Who are you playing today? Hot Kilcock versus Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. I actually, I've only been out in Kildare once. It was in Naas, and I got bet up by 3 17-year-olds.
No way. What age were you?
I was 23.
That's grand. If there's three of them and 30, there were 51 combined age.
It was.
Were they stacked on top of each other wearing a long trench coat?
I was just gonna say, and one of them tried to buy an over 18s ticket to a cinema. They
And how did you notice?
We'll see. Right, so I got kicked out of a nightclub, and in fairness, it was not my fault. It was one of those things where, like, I dropped a glass, but I wasn't that drunk. And the bouncer comes over and goes, "It's too busy to be doing that tonight, mate." And I was like, "It's just blatantly not. Like, we were the first people in the club, so there's no way it was." And then he kicked me out.
Yeah, and plus, there's never really a good time to drop a glass.
Yeah, it's not as if like he was like. It's not as if there was 50 people less, I would have let you away with it. But because
do you know what? We're actually overstaffed tonight, so drop all the glasses you want, lads. We were going to let someone go, but chip away.
And then I got kicked out, and I was kind of arguing with the bouncer, but like listen, like. And it was we all came down from college for this one night, and I didn't want anyone to come out with me because like I don't want to be the reason people's nights are ruined. So I was like, please, like it's not that late and it's really early. And they just started giving out to me.
Plus, if you are the one that's kicked out, and then everyone's like, "Where's Podge?" And then like 20 minutes later they find you outside, you can literally just make up any story like. Just like, "Oh, you should have seen the hiding I gave your man outside. Oh, if you see it. Oh, and he's gone now." When really you're just literally sitting on your own drinking a milkshake from Eddie Rockets. Like,
exactly.
It's happened 3 times.
But then feels like that's a very specific story, Donal, that you sort of described.
Oh, just off the top of my head. Anyway, you were saying something?
The bouncer. So I started getting an argument with me, and he just. He went to walk away. I probably shouldn't have, but like lightly, very lightly, I kind of like gave him a kick up the arse just for shits and giggles. And when I mean lightly, it genuinely was really lightly. It was like,
as if he's going to take it well anyway, like.
and then he started like chasing me with his umbrella, which was quite funny at the time. And then these young lads were.
Was it opened or closed?
It was closed. It was closed. He was like, "I get you, Sonny."
He takes 2 steps and gets taken by the wind.
It's like Mary Poppins, right?
Third time this week.
Right back into the club. And
back from whence you came, Umbrella Man.
And these 3 young lads came over. They were clearly looking for a fight. And one of them comes over to me and goes, "Here, leave me alone. He's 40. And in my head, I was like, that's not that old. Like, especially for a bouncer. Like, he's definitely stronger than me. That's not something. And then one of them hit me, and then I hit one back. But obviously all 3 of them, like, bet me up and threw me on the ground and started kicking me. And like, they were kicking the back of my head. And I just remember, like, blocking this was outside the gates of the club now. I remember looking up, and the bouncer was just staring at me. And I was like, I kind of deserve this. Like, there's no way. You're not going to help me. And then the worst bit was, they got up, and out of pure like spite and frustration, I was like, "Come on, finish me off!" But they turned around and came over and finished me off. It gave me a massive black eye.
Oh, I'd never shout that to 17-year-olds.
Yeah, no, it was just pure in the heat of the moment.
I more times than not, when I hear stories like that, the bouncer either is like just making the situation worse or doing absolutely nothing. And I've never worked as a bouncer, so like. Realistically, I too would do nothing at all, but I just find it funny. I heard one of my other mates, he was somebody had robbed his friend's phone or something like that. Where was it? It was in Button Factory, I think it was, a couple of years ago. And the lad went back to get his phone, and then a scrap started between those 2 lads, and then all the friends start jumping in from either side. Next thing you know, there's 10 lads boxing the head off each other. And then this one lad is like, right, like, who's left for me? Who am I fighting? And he looks over, and the one lad that's left without a buddy on the other team just like looks at him and then reaches for his belt and just whips off the belt. And he's like, of course I get the lad that just whips out the belt. Like, that's the last person I'm paired with.
When is there ever a lad who whips out the belt? That's not like, I don't know. You know, there's always one guy who you know, like, there's always one person who gets drunk, or there's always one person who falls over. Never have I heard, you know, there's always one person who whips out the belt.
Well, clearly you're not fighting right. Obviously, because you're getting your head kicked in by those 17-year-olds. If you had a belt on, it'd be a different story. But anyway, Your man, do you ever see in The Simpsons when Lisa and Bart have that fight and Lisa's swinging her arms and Bart's just kicking his legs?
Yeah.
It was like that, except your man was just whipping the belt at him, slowly walking towards him. And my mate's a big block of a lad. So he just shields his arm up, puts his forearm up, and just slowly starts walking into it. And all this time, he's just getting whipped by the belt. And like, he was getting cuts on his face and stuff because the metal off the belt was just whipping him. But he just keeps powering through like it's like 300. Yeah, and then eventually he gets close enough that he's able to wrap his arm, catches the belt, and pulls your man in with the belt and boxes him and leaves him on the ground. But to get to the point of the story, he was outside the nightclub and his like face was like gashed open a fair bit. He was also wearing a wife beater as well. I feel like that's an important detail. And the lads were like, "Jesus, that was something else, wasn't it?" And then the bouncer comes out with the buckle of the belt, and he's like, "Man, what you did in there was fucking awesome! Like, this is your trophy. This is your trophy." Mate was like, "Where the fuck were you? Like, where were you while all this was going on?" Like,
I hate to be a bouncer because like it just like you to pick someone to kick out, and like 9 times out of 10 you're probably picking the wrong person, and it's just everything just get abused. But come here, back to you, Donal. What possessed you to move out of Dublin? What did you?
I said the lockdown was cold, and then I just said I'd be better off getting a change of scenery for the lockdown, and it's worked out pretty well.
Very nice.
Pretty well.
And what have you done since the last? So since I think your last time on the show was April. What have you been up to since then? Like, update people on your life.
Oh, I've been doing so well without you, Podge. I've started working out, which you probably could tell. I've been like seeing so many other podcast hosts. Like, I just like back-to-back podcast hosts. I'm just meeting on the weekly. Like, so yeah, like I've just been doing so good.
I sort of meant like your life, but okay.
Yeah, if you were to get into specifics, I oh, the other day, my brother made a couple of weeks back. My brother made
Did you say the
like
other day?
a lentil stew, and I tried to remake it, and I used too much tahini, and it tasted like cat food. Um, but I cooked so much of it, I just had to eat it. And do you know when a curry like stays like in a pot or something, it gets nicer by each day?
Yeah.
The same happens, but with cat food, it gets more cat foodier. I'm trying to think if there's anything interesting. I mean, I suppose that's interesting. God, since April.
Did you go away? Like,
Um,
did you do that like stereotypical when everyone goes, like, you know, everyone went on a staycation in Ireland?
oh, I did a fair few staycations. I thought you were going to talk about like actually going abroad, like those select few wankers that were like, oh, like loads of them went to fucking Greece and shit like that. Like, and everyone's just stuck at home.
I went to Greece.
I don't know. It's yeah. Oh, did you
No.
this year?
No, I
All
didn't go.
right, I was about to roast you. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like someone walking around, like, and they always waited for the right time on Instagram to post. It's like someone walking around like after an exam or something, school, like, oh, what you get? Like, oh, like 67. It's like, oh, not bad. Like, what you get? Like 70. Yeah, not bad. Oh, I got 84. It's like, man,
Why'd you wait
get the
around?
fuck away from me.
And then the very people who are like, oh, I haven't studied at all. I'm going to do so shit.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't bought any airplane tickets at all.
Or like,
Yes, some.
what annoyed me was people like that, grand, put up your posts, you're going abroad. There was a time there, right, things were on the green list, I suppose. You could probably make an argument for those people. But it's they come home and the first thing they do is put up a story of them drinking at a mate's. And you're like, if you're going to go abroad and technically you're not breaking restrictions, you need to follow the restrictions when you come back. Otherwise, you're a dick.
Yeah, it's literally that. Like, I've seen some like I think as well though it's important to remember for around this time that I feel like I'm safe in saying that literally everyone has broke the rules during this
In some way, shape, or
in
form.
some way, and
Yeah.
some people have been worse than others, so there's no point throwing stones or whatever. But yeah, no, some people have been taking the absolute piss. I think it just comes back to jealousy with me. That I know for a fact that if I was over in Greece, I wouldn't be
too
able
warm
to.
for you.
It's too warm for me. I wouldn't be able to take my top off and get the photos that they were taking. So once again, it would just be t-shirt photos in the shade, which I can do in Santry. So there's.
But there, yeah, I think a lot of people aren't like this. Lockdown number 2 is a lot less followed than number 1, and it's probably just the frustration of the people, really. But isn't it mad that like we done a podcast on the coronavirus, and like imagine if we were to go some way back in time. I just be like, listen, just so you know, the next 8 months is going to actually be like this. How fucking insane it was, because.
Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, I remember we had no idea what we were talking about for it, just like any other podcast. But
Very true.
yeah, the first time I heard of it was when I was snowboarding in January, and we were at an après ski, and someone was just like, "Oh, do you see there's some like outbreak in China or something like that?" I was just like, listen, like these things happen. You know the way you always hear like earthquake in Saipan?
Yeah, and you're like, what good is that to me? Like, I'm not.
Yeah, that's halfway across the world. And then, yeah, it just started slowly creeping towards us.
We went to Germany in February, and my auntie, who's really spooked with stuff like that, was like, "Oh, wear a mask," and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, no, I'm not gonna wear a mask. I look like an idiot. And she was like, "That coronavirus." I said, "That coronavirus is in Wuhan, the other side of the world." And then little did she know, she also kicked me out of the house, when I was still going to work, and like we like 3 cases in Ireland.
You were shouting, "Finish me off!"
Yeah, he was like, "Come on, finish me off." Yeah, she was like, "Would you mind leaving?" And I was like, "That's a weird thing to say," but 2 weeks later we went into a lockdown, so the woman can tell the future.
Wow! Did she do the lottery numbers?
No, she does bingo.
Well, then she can get back to cooking her Strauss. Is that a German cuisine? Lebensraum?
She's not German. You're still writing away, are you?
Yeah, still writing away, working away. So that's grand. I did do a good few staycations. Where did I go? I went to Sligo a fair few times. I have a brother down there. I believe you've been to Sligo a few times as well.
It's where I want to say, like I've said this on the podcast, in real life, on as if they're different things. I've said it like multiple times before. Sligo is where I will be settling down with my wife,
Yeah,
or
but
husband. Will
yeah, or dog.
yeah, well, if it's legal, if it's legal,
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah, no,
only time will tell.
Sligo
Um,
is amazing
yeah,
place.
but 100%. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was down there for a few. I'd be the same as myself. I could definitely see myself settling there. But do you know what I came across? I have a friend down there,
A girl.
and he he what?
And it's bad that I have to explain the joke, but like, do you know what I came across? And then, as in, like,
Yeah, and he also laughed and looked at Shane, and I didn't hear him laugh through my headphones. Now maybe he did laugh, but if he did, it wasn't
he just
loud enough.
just gave
So
me the
obviously, it
fingers.
wasn't a good enough joke.
He just gave.
Good, good. Um, multiple fingers.
Go on. What did you come across?
uh, what did I come? Oh yeah, a local like what would you call it? Like um, almost like folklore in a sense, I suppose, would be of that status. The, a bit of fair play now, Morris. A bit of fair play.
Oh, you didn't.
The prank phone call that's
You
like famous in
didn't
Sligo.
come
I
across.
had never heard that before.
Isn't it? Isn't it the
Yeah.
funniest? I'll actually. It's genuine. Hello,
Oscar win.
Morris. Willie Rogers here, man. Whoa, say that again. Say. It's how many?
I'm extending the olive branch of friendship.
How many? Sorry, how many have you heard? Because there's the three Morris ones, but then
Yeah.
he also calls I think it's like a pet shop, and then the girl who answers, he's like, there's a wee swan outside, and its wing is gone. And then he goes into, and it's so like, and then he goes into being like, she's like, oh, did you call the animal rescue? Yeah, they told me to leave it alone, but the poor fella's crying, and then I don't want to leave it outside. And then he's like, cause I've Polish neighbours and they like to eat swans, don't they? It is the funniest.
To give a bit of context to our non-Sligo listeners, it's I don't even know who it is, but it's some lads that prank phone calls like well-known heads around Sligo, like a soccer coach in a pet shop or whatever. But the lads' voices is
It's the funniest thing.
Oscar winning. Like it's absolutely fantastic. Like
We do
there's no need for that language.
we do every year at EP, because I stay with all the Sligo people, and every year at EP we wake up, and it's typically the Sunday when like everyone's at their lowest before they're going to be at their highest. And did you know that moment when everyone's sitting around and they're just drinking cans, and there's a small bit of sun, a little bit of giddiness, and there's this one speaker that we always have, and we play the Morris. We play them in sequence, those three, and then it just gets everyone off their seat and up they go.
Yeah,
It's unreal.
Excellent shout. Excellent shout.
I want to ask you, Donal. I want to ask you, because before last time you were you were the political correspondent that we would have had for the podcast.
Of course.
In other words, I knew nothing about politics, and you knew something.
I watched a documentary when I was 8 years old.
What's been your take on the American election?
Oh yeah, like it's. I seen a post today. You obviously saw that video of your man skating with the ocean spray.
Yes, yes, iconic.
Fleetwood Mac dreams. Someone was like, since that lad came into my life, things have been turning around in 2020, and I think it's right. Like I think he's right. It's just fantastic. Like there's no other way to describe it. Like I was thinking about it as well. The differences on election days, because I always had an interest in politics, and if you kind of get interested in politics, it starts with American politics because that one's the most like dramatized or like stupid. Like, this election was brought to you by Sprite. Drink fresh. All right, we're counting the ballots, and Gatorade is counting the ballots for us in Minnesota. So it's flashy. So I was into it as a kid, but I remember the morning that Obama got elected, and I came down. I think I was in sixth class, and I came down. I heard the TV on, and downstairs. I woke up early. It was like 6:30 or something. I'd never get out of bed that early. Came down and my mom was folding clothes, watching it, and there's people like dancing like in front of the White House, and loads of like African American like communities out, and like people that you wouldn't have seen before, like, and just like songs and dancing and stuff like that. And my mom's folding the clothes, and like there was like a tear running down her cheek, and she was like, "This is really special," like, and I hadn't quite understood like the weight of it, like how important and amazing this election was, and it just stuck with me, like. But then skip on 8
Ages.
years, and I was after a night out. I think I was in first year of college. I was after a night out in D2. I was in
Nice.
Subway. Right,
Back
rock
the
on.
day, rock
Um,
on D2.
yeah, that was some spot for stealing pints. Like, don't think I ever paid for a pint in my life there. And you didn't even obviously you stole it off the stupid like boggers that left their pints down. But you could literally pour yourself pints.
Oh
Like,
yeah, actually you could reach over. It was really really bad for that.
yeah, yeah. I remember, side story. I stole 2 bottles of my waddy and put them down my jocks when I was walking out of the place, and the bouncer came up to me. He was like, "Do you think I'm that stupid?" And he took one of them out, but sure wasn't the black currant in the back pocket, and I was slugging that on the way home. Um, but anyway, I was after a night out there,
Sorry,
and I
can we
was in
just?
Subway.
You stole a bottle of Mayawadi that was probably like 160, and you're like, haha, but I was slugging
Two,
that. No.
2 bottles. 2 bottles.
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
only got
thank you.
away with one.
Yeah, but I think the more important part of the story was that I was drinking just raw blackcurrants,
Yeah.
thinking that I got a one over on someone when my when I was bleeding from my throat by the end of it. Like, disgusting.
Go on
They,
back
they literally won. Like,
back to
um,
Trump winning.
so I was back in I was in Subway on Westmoreland Street,
Mm.
and this lad who was wearing a donkey badge, which is like the donkey's the symbol for the Democrats.
Yes.
And I was like, "What's the story, man? Like, how's things looking?" And he just looked at me, and like the look on his face was like, I instantly knew. I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, this is. He was like, "It's not good." Like, it's like I don't know. The look on his face was just like he was studying for an exam, and then the exam gets called off because his granny got in a car crash, and it turns out he didn't even have a granny in the first place, and he was a whole fluster of confusion and sadness. Um, if that's even a good metaphor, probably is. Um, but yeah, and then I got home and I put on the TV, and when you're just staring at something for ages, and it's like you see it, like the numbers are bigger than Hillary Clinton, but you're like, what? Like, this
Mm.
can't be real. Like, um, and then it was real, and it was shit 4 years. It was a really, really shit 4 years. Um, there's no other way to put it. It was racists felt safe again. Like,
They really
um,
did. Like,
and yeah, and there's so much. It's not even worth getting into. Like the him backing out of the climate change agreement,
oh yeah, the Paris
like
Accords.
the racial issues, the children in cages on the border, but um,
Is it so
yeah,
mad though? Is
then
it so
like
mad to
skip
think
on.
that like that's like real? Like he had children in cages. He pulled out of the Paris Accords, which was meant to be like the biggest like impact of climate
Mm,
change, and like he just the things he did and like the things he said, and at it actually even though he's not even out of office yet, but like because Joe Biden is now the president, you're like, oh my god, and then you just think about it, and go, how did he actually get away with that? Like how was that actually
yeah,
accepted?
yeah. Do you know what? Like, I have a clear like image in my head, and it's it's 2043, and I'm sitting down and I'm watching Reeling in the Years with my kids, and my kid will be like looking at the TV screen and looking at me, and I'll just be like, I still don't fucking know, man. Don't look at me for answers. Like, I don't know what the fuck was going on then either. Like,
2020 is going to be a great year for reading the years.
Oh man, absolutely, absolutely. Sure, there was like even before COVID happened, there was loads of shit going on.
Australia was half
like
burnt.
That's right. Forgot about that. There was a whiff of a World War III or something, but I feel like that always happens.
Kobe Bryant died. Like
every year.
Kobe Bryant, the man you save when you shoot a hoop. You go, Kobe, he died. Then coronavirus hit. Then what else happened?
And everything got cancelled.
Everything got cancelled. Everyone got cancelled.
We had an election. Was the election this year?
Yeah, we had an election. We had it. We done a podcast on the election.
Oh, yeah. We did. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yeah, that election was mad.
Yeah, actually,
I can't, like, literally, they're going to have to each month in the Reeling in the Years.
I actually can't, but I know there was so much other things that happened. Fungi, apparently gone. There's a big impact in the Irish.
Fungi. That lad's been dead, like, for the last 40 years. Question, though, what songs will they be using for Reeling in the Years, and what will be going with those? What images will be going with those songs?
You could.
I think the obvious one is Wet Ass Pussy to Trump just doing that little double fist jive.
Yeah, whap. You could have maybe the boys are back in town and just have the golf gate and all the lads playing.
The podge. Reeling in the Years uses the songs from that year and pairs it, with the images from that year. I really didn't think I was going to have to explain the rest.
Sorry, I know. I was pairing up a song with. Okay. I'm sorry. What else could go with Golfgate? So, what other songs came out?
Golfgate. What song came out?
I don't think anyone released much music, did they?
There was. There's a fair amount of music. Bicep had some stuff out this year, but I don't know if you could pair that with Golfgate. Just a load of like
fucking apricots.
Middle-aged wankers.
Bam, just fucking old lads hitting the.
And just a load of middle-aged like politicians. I don't know if it would go as well.
Where did you watch it? Because we watched I was watching the Joe Biden's speech on Saturday night, and I had a few in me, and there was and for someone who does not really, I mean, like I think like everyone, I had an interest in the American election, and I was watching it, and I kept up to date with the swing states and all that, but no more than on an off day would not have much of an interest. But like there was a few tears shed, and also probably because we were out of drink. But like there was a few tears shed in sense of like it's nice to have an American president who you can actually listen to and enjoy the speech, and there might be words where you actually don't understand.
And Kamala Harris like getting in there. There's that girl down in Georgia who registered the 800,000 voters that like were at one time suppressed, like got the most amount of votes an American president has ever gotten.
But isn't it also it's scary that like Trump got like the fourth, didn't he? Trump got the fourth most votes, which is still mad.
Yeah, and he got more votes than last election as well, I think. So there's two sides to the coin. There's one is like a major win for democracy and just overall humankind that I think like as you said, you're talking about swing states, and you know like all about the electoral college now and stuff like that, which is great. Like so many people are in tune to the democratic process now. Like if the democracy is a muscle, Trump fucking works that muscle. Like whether he was good or not, he worked it, and that muscle is a lot stronger now. Like way more people are in tuned and stuff like that. On the flip side of the coin, as you said, there's still there's 70 million people in that country that support him. So it's about getting them engaged, and not like a lot of it, like how he came about, like was a lot of people just being disenfranchised and feeling left behind, and some baselessly could say that, and others had a genuine point that, like, hey, like my parents' generation were better off than I am. My kids are going to be poorer than me. Like, I need to shake the system up. So it's about not forgetting them, not leaving them behind. Like, I think we can have a week of like rubbing it
Partying.
in somewhat.
Yeah.
But then I suppose it's just about putting that behind us and trying to move forward and ensure that just that never,
But
ever happens again.
but wasn't it? I think I could be wrong name wise, but I'm pretty sure Van Jones, the CNN reporter, who was like it's a good day for democracy in the sense that Biden won, but it's really really sad to see just how many people voted for Donald Trump, and how racist America still
Yeah,
really is, and how much, and even like I was looking in the states. And even states where Joe Biden won by a landslide, it went like if you clicked into it, it would go into all the different counties. And while of course at the highly populated areas, that's where Joe Biden, like the cities and that's where Joe Biden will get. And the gentrified, the like loads of areas that would be gentrified, you could see that's where Joe Biden got most votes. But like the majority, if we're going to go by square meters of these states, Trump won every single one because once you get out of the highly populated cities, he is
yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, see, that goes down to another problem that needs to be sorted out as well is gerrymandering. The Democrats are bad at it, but the Republicans are really fucking bad at it, where they will say we'll take Dublin as an example, and you knew that like um, that Stony Batter votes Green, and you're the Healy Ray party, and you don't want to put Stony Batter and like Fibsborough together because there's a lot of people. They say like 25% of the votes with them together will just be the Healy Rays. So what you want to do if you're a Healy Rays, you want to cut out a section that is like say just Fibsborough for example. You want to just carve out where the people are voting Healy Rays and have that as one section, and that's the same amount of votes as Stony Batter. So now rather than you having 25% of that whole area being Healy Rays, but it gets green overall, when you carve that little slice of the cake out, you're making it unfair. You're tipping the weighing scales in your favor. It's gerrymandering, but that kind of somewhat explains a lot of like the red areas in America is that they've just carved the map in that way for voting. So it's shit like that needs to be sorted. Shit like the electoral college needs to be gotten rid of.
It's so dumb. I
Um,
was actually I literally briefly looked over because I didn't know too much what it was, and the like purpose of the electoral college back in the day as well was set up for those who lived on plantations who had black slaves, and it was for every like three slaves count as one person or something. I don't know the exact details, and I'm not gonna like go, but like that's what like it was set up for at the start for all those like a lot of swing states where
yeah,
there
it was
was
set
one,
up in like the 1700s. Like,
which is mad.
it's an old system. Yeah, yeah. So he has a lot on his plate, old Joe. But
Trump has
listen, it's a
Trump has to leave first.
yeah. I mean, like I pray to God he refuses to leave because I really want to see his orange titties just dragging on that floor as he's being dragged out by his ankles, like, and you can see the fake tan streak all the way through the Oval Office. Like, I pray he physically refuses to leave so that like we can get the bouncer from Kildare to sweep him out and have the three 17-year-olds waiting outside the White House. I'll fly them over. I'll pay for their flight, and they could thump the head off him outside.
We'll just get your lad with the belt coming at him as well.
Yeah, we'll have them all. We'll have them all. Everybody, send in your funniest fighting, drinking, smoking stories, and we'll get the best characters out of them all, round them up, and put them on the first flight to the White House when Trump refuses to leave.
But
It'd
no,
be hilarious.
if we could crack, yeah. I grew a ponytail as well, actually.
Right, that's on the heads.
What's
There.
it? Huh?
Yeah, it's yeah, that's there.
I don't wear
That's
I don't wear the ponytail. It's just only like, it's just long hair, but it's the only thing that keeps the hair out of my face.
does it say? I've noticed in the photos, it's getting curly at the end. It's sweeping up.
I don't know. Ow, ow.
Or how long do you think you can do it?
The last time I actually I'm pretty sure, actually, the last time I got a haircut was our last podcast. Because I remember I had to get a haircut that day. No, there's a fun fact.
Interesting. Yeah,
Um,
you've really let yourself go
I,
since I stopped being in your life.
I yeah, I kind of, thanks.
Yeah, yeah. I started giving myself a haircut, or I started giving myself my own haircut since lockdown, and I'm never going back. Like,
Do you fade it?
yeah, I even still make like the awkward conversation with myself while I'm alone in thing like. You didn't see United last weekend, did you? I actually don't watch football, Donal, and you know I don't, so I don't know why you bring this up.
Do you have to watch?
Oh, I don't think you can say that anymore, Donal. I think that's kind of offensive.
Do you have to watch the Premiership on the weekend now just so you can have awkward conversations with yourself about the match?
Yeah, and I read like a week-old evening bathroom for 20 minutes beforehand, and it makes no sense. Like I'd be in a complete rush, like, and still just make myself wait and read like these trashy red top papers in my own house. I'm like, why am I doing this? Makes no sense.
And so, considering like all that's going
No
on now,
morality.
and considering all that's going on, Donal, because I've asked every guest who's come on the show the last couple of months, where would you like to see yourself in, let's say, a year's time? And it continuously changes due to the fact that like we would have thought it would have been like a 1 month lockdown, 2 month lockdown. We're now into like nearly 7 months now, coming close to 8. So are you going to move down to Kildare? To Kildare for the foreseeable, or what's the?
No, as soon as this lockdown, as soon as we're out of level 5, I'll be back to Dublin anyway. Just because I have to be out and about with the job. Just currently, like, you just probably shouldn't be out and about. I think that's the official line from the government, right? You probably shouldn't be out and about there now. If you could refrain from doing the outs and the abouts, we have the outs down 20% and the abouts down like 30%, and we're looking to get the out and abouts. We're looking to get the pair of them down to 40%. That's the level we're looking for. Um, so yeah, as soon as that's back, I'll be up in Dublin. But in a year's time, jeez, I couldn't tell you. Um, I will say though, like in the last week, it's the first time I've like and I'd be quite an optimistic
Felt
person. It's the
happy.
first time I felt happy. There's like just that little like ball of sunshine is back. I feel.
I don't
I
know.
feel good about the future.
I would be like 2020 in ways, in fairness, has been a good year for some things, but for you'd be happy
Hmm.
to know I've stopped doing TikTok as well.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Did you have to get the patches, or is there a helpline, or how's it work?
Yeah, no, I just went cold turkey. I went into like a rehab center for a few weeks.
Oof.
Yeah, yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I don't like 2020 has been good in some regards, of course, but it's getting to that stage where I just want to be able to go outside and meet people, and just enjoy and not look at my roommates.
Yeah, yeah. I just miss hearing songs on like loud, big speakers in a club, and like, yeah. Do you know what I really missed was
EP.
when you're like you're stinking at a festival, you're in a dark. You take a look at yourself and you realize how like filthy and ridiculous you look, and then you turn around and all your friends just look filthy and ridiculous,
Yeah.
and you're like, this is
Do you know that
absolutely amazing.
that moment of like like we recently actually funny enough all your suggestions listened to Fortet a bit now over the last couple of weeks, fun fact.
Oh, nice,
um
nice.
but we were
This
listening.
room is actually 16 Fortets wide. I've moved up in the world.
But just like you're listening, we were listening to like songs or like my room or Scopes, my roommate, flat housemate. He is big into like his house and techno as well, big into his music, a bit like yourself.
The bloody pagan.
and and then like he played tunes, and it would just feel like it would be just songs that really buzz you for a festival, or for just somewhere, and then you're listening to them, and all you can imagine is just being like Rave in the Woods, or not even Rave in the Woods, like Casper Cardi or somewhere. These are just like, EP places I'm thinking
Yeah.
of, but like, and it doesn't have to be like 5 in the morning and like the peak of you being fucked. This is like the
Yeah.
peak of the night where everyone's just having a good time. It's not that late. There's just tunes going. There's smiles and
Yeah.
kisses flying.
There's one smiles and kisses flying. There's one sounds like listening to Varda. There's one thing. there's one thing I will say though. It'll be all the sweeter when it comes back, and when the sun shines out, it will shine out all the brighter, Mister Frodo. Potatoes.
Whoa. Say that again.
Yeah. That's what I learned.
Oh yeah, that's the best. That picture's right, if there's any other way, Morris.
But yeah, there still is, like, I'm sure everyone has those like a few songs that like bring you right back to like a specific moment at a festival, and yeah, that's what I have to put into perspective too. Like, some people had a way harder lockdown than others, and I'd say, speaking very broadly, everyone's kind of has their own stuff, but I suppose our generation would have had it easier than other generations during this thing. So I suppose it's worth bearing that in mind. But my God, get me into a field with a warm can and looking ridiculous, like.
I mean, you could do that in your own time.
That's true. I wonder, could I combine it and try and help the more like needy people during this time?
Yeah, I don't know how you do that, but yeah.
Where's your granny live?
I 7 feet under.
7 feet.
7 feet.
Ooh. What? She thinks she's better than us?
7 feet under. She's dead.
Yeah, it's 6 feet for most people.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Oh, she's just a little white around the I didn't finish it, so I got away with it.
We dug an extra foot to make sure she won't come back up.
Yeah.
But
what about yourself? How are you feeling for the next year yourself?
Do you know what? It's nice for someone else to ask. It's nice. You can tell you're a seasoned pro at this. Asking back.
Right. I didn't hear Tony Cantwell ask you anything.
No.
Yeah.
I think he's a bit jealous.
But anyway, no, I'm not.
We Darren Conway back on again as well. He was actually asking for you.
Ah, the dote.
Yeah,
he's a hoot.
He's a hoot.
He's this year has been good for him as well.
This year has been good for him.
He's been doing bits this year.
I don't know where I'd like to see myself in a year. Hard to tell. It always changes. Because I want to go to Canada, but like I can't anymore. So probably be here.
What part of Canada?
Vancouver, I think, maybe. Not too sure. But I'll be here. Look, do you know what? This time next year,
I like to call it Coon City.
Coon City.
Yeah, serious amount of raccoons around there.
I love it.
They're the best part of the city.
It's nice for once that there's a small delay, and it's is it on your end? I'm hoping it is. Just for the sheer fact that every other time we've done a podcast, it was always my fault, and it's nice to.
No, I got a severe kick to the head in the last 8 months, so it's just me slowly responding to the questions.
Right, Donal, before we finish up, how would you describe in like one word the last 6 months? Your last 6 months.
Oh, one word. Let me think about this. Does it have to be in English?
I mean, no, but you'll have to translate it though when you say the word that it's.
Right. Okay. It's in Old Irish. There's an old. It's kind of like an old word. You wouldn't really get it used now, but it's pronounced cack. and cack just translates directly to shit. Um, so I suppose they both are one word in each language, but it reinforces how shit the last 6 months have been when I say it in two languages.
Fair. I'm, I don't know what to say to that. Like I thought you were gonna be like something more inspiring, but you know.
Do you know I have reached such levels of boredom that I genuinely
Oh.
forward to their monthly hauls. I mean, I haven't even ever been on boohoo.com.
Hold on, hold on.
Could tell you all about it. Like,
You cut out there. So what? Say that again. Say that again.
say that again. Am I back? Am I?
Yeah. Say that last part again.
I was just talking about the levels of boredom that I've reached, and that I genuinely look forward to. There's like 4 or 5 girls. I say they don't even know that I follow them. Like it's one of those setups where I think they might have went to my primary school or something. But I just thoroughly look forward to their monthly hauls. Like what shit that they've bought off Boohoo by some like 5-year-old Indonesian kid probably made the boots that cost 15 quid. Thoroughly look forward to seeing what they have bought each month.
That's...
I used to do things with my life. I used to go outside and see people.
And now you're
And
here now you're using discount code Sophie20.
I put the discount codes in to see if they work. I don't even buy the stuff.
Do they work?
They do. They do, yeah, in fairness. Yeah.
Donal, thank you very much for coming back on to let everyone know that you're safe and sound, and I was going to say thriving, but by the sounds of it, getting by.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say sound, and I wouldn't even say safe either. I don't trust myself in these 4 walls. But I am... No, that's all 3 words used. I am Donal. Is that a good note to finish?
You are Donal. Where would you...
There we go.
I don't know, where would you get people to... if it, as always, you can reach podcast.ie, PodHenry, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. But Donal, how do they get in touch with you?
I've actually bought the @real Donald Trump Twitter handle now. So big things coming true. No, I'm on Instagram. If that's still a thing, it is still a thing. Donal, if you want to follow me, I put up a post once every 3-4 months. The last one was of me feeding a swan down in the Swords Estuary with my mouth. I put a piece of bread in my mouth and in my mouth, and I don't know which is worse, that it was a swan was coming in contact with my mouth or is in Swords Estuary. But yep, that's where you can get me anyway.
Well, that's it from this week. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed that blast from the past as we talk about the future. But that was good. From myself here and
Ooh, that was good.
Thank you. And everyone at Collaborative Studios. And Donal, thank you very much for listening. And we will see you next week.